Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Fatal Frame 2. I'm your host CPC Gamer, and I'm not really foreign, I just say that I am in order to sound more sophisticated. Do you know what, I really have got to stop making cracks like that because, like, a lot of the people that I live with and work with, they think that this is an American accent, that I'm from America for some reason. And they keep asking, where am I from? Why am I in a wretched town like this one? And personally speaking, I don't hear my accent. This is just the way that I talk and have talked for as long as I've lived, pretty much. But, whatever. So hey, in the last episode, we reached the endgame. And then I got lost and wandered around for a bit finding ghosts. But now, here we are. And we appear to have interrupted a ritual, and the ghosts don't seem to be best pleased with this. Skeletor is a worthy final boss, right? Well, no, not really. Which is good, because this is not the final boss. He is a really tricky one, though. Oh, and on a point of pedantry, I suppose you could say he's also not Skeletor, but whatever. So this is Ryokan Kurosawa. He is... well, the game calls him the Ritual Master. The Spirit List calls him the Ritual Master anyways. And that's actually a fitting title, since every iteration of the ritual that we hear about in this game features him in some way. When he was a child, he killed his twin brother as part of the ritual. He helped Itsuki kill Mutsuki in their ritual. Later on, his daughters were required to take part in the ritual. And when they couldn't, he performed the ritual twice. Once on Sai, and once on the Outsider, in the hopes that that would appease the Hellish Abyss and stop everything going wrong. Functionally speaking, Ryokan is exactly the same as the Veiled Priests, which is really good because, as you've seen, he summons them to fight in his stead. Don't worry though, it's not your typical call for backup video game move. If you defeat the priestly cohorts, then they don't come back. They also retain their health bars, as you'll see in the top left, which is nice of them. I really need to move, but I don't want to get close to that guy. And that's why. Oh, hey, that was pretty cool. That wasn't, but the fact that I saw it flying past, that was kind of cool. I seem to have my priorities wrong in this fight, looking at things saying it's cool. So, when he shows up and we're actually able to get a look at him, there we go, we can see that Ryokan looks like Soku Shinbutsu, which... it's a term used for Buddhist priests or monks who have mummified themselves through a process of being buried alive and dehydration. It's probably worth pointing out this is not... it's not a practice that is actively condoned or indeed practiced by the vast majority of Buddhist sects, in much the same way that the whole God hates fags thing is not practiced by the majority in the mainstream Christian communities. And you know what? You may be wondering, how on earth have I got onto a religious rant in the middle of this fight? And I'll tell you why. It's because this fight is approximately 6 hours long. I mean, I am reminded of, like, Devil May Cry 4. You know, I have been fighting this boss for an hour and a half now. Can I please just finish the game? I don't even care. And then the game goes, nope, here's his second form. And then you have to fight him again, and then again during the credits. I have no idea what just hit me there. possibly that guy launching a wisp. I guess we'll never know. Also, what is glowing blue, game? Huh. I've never seen that before. Anyways, yeah, enough of that. Back to this guy.
Perform the ritual with Sai alone. Yai, why did you leave?
Now, you see, you can tell that that's a special fight, not only because we get a Master's Key and a crystal, which is quite nice, but because we get a very special ending when we defeat him. Alrighty, with that annoyance out the way, now we come to the end game. You remember way back in whatever the hell video it was, when we had to start finding the pinwheels? How I said that where most games would have a boss rush, this one has something entirely more annoying? That's what we're going to be doing now. We're going to be doing something entirely more annoying. By the way, this passage right here, we've already seen this passage in whatever film reel it was we saw right at the beginning of the game. Probably film reel 1 in that case. I'm good at this. This bit always reminds me of Silent Hill 2. With that said, so did Kiryu House. At this point, I forget if I mentioned that, but yeah. So, while ordinarily I advocate running as much as you can... Come on, game, don't do this to me. There we go. While I normally advocate running, in this case, you're actually better off walking. Now, I shall show you why in just 1 second. As soon as the game decides to do what it wants to do. Although, if you've been paying attention to the notes and the mythos, folklore, whatever of this game, you probably know what's going to happen. Yep. Mourners. Now, the major problem with fighting Mourners in this particular area is that, well, there's not really anywhere to run. It's all on a straight line. I have absolutely no idea how, but on my test playthrough, I managed to kill one of these guys in 2 shots. Don't ask me how, because I have no idea, but I did. Now, it's not that I have a problem with fighting Mourners, although I do. I don't like them as an enemy type. It's against my nature to stand still when I'm faced with danger, and I also don't like a ghost that can do that to you with 1 attack. I didn't even need to use my 0 power-up then. I just did it out of spite because I hate you. My issue is not that we have to fight Mourners, and that it's mostly, this part of the game is mostly put here as a severe drain on any healing items that you've stocked up throughout the game. It's that you have to fight the Mourners approximately 12 million times down this corridor in order to reach the end. And it's really annoying. And just to make it even worse, I kind of haven't got any notes for this part of the game. I wish I could show you these, and I don't particularly want to take a picture of it. I've just scribbled on this page, Mourners, and I've underlined it about 5 times, just because I was not having fun during this part of the game. It's kind of like a resurgence of the feelings I had during the bit when we had to find Chitose. Still, it must be done, because well, after this, we have the final boss, and that's it. Which is nice. Is that him? That's one. Another sort of major issue with the Mourners at this particular part of the game is that they can spawn out of bounds, and that makes it really hard to find them. This is actually a new tactic that I'm going to try. I mentioned it during the fight with, what's it, the doll maker. I'm going to try cherry tapping, because, hey, why not? Seems to be doing okay so far. Now, the only other problem with the Mourners is that they do like to spawn in pairs, so while that guy's down, we're probably just going to take a few more steps, and what do you know, another one's going to turn up. The thing is, as well, is that the enemies that we're fighting here, there's nothing new. If you saw Fatal Frame 1, you know how in the last corridor of the last part of the game, we fought, what's it, the Rope Shrine Maiden, who, well, I had actually fought her several times before during the playthrough, as you'd seen, but we're not meant to have found her before. She's meant to be in that corridor, and that corridor alone. So it was kind of nice to have something new and unexpected, especially given that she was the single fastest ghost in the game, you'll recall. Well, do you know what? I think I kind of like this new tactic. That was pretty easy. Maybe I've got the wrong place. There is something hidden down this corridor, and as soon as I find it and show it to you guys, you'll know that I'm not mad just pointing my camera at the wall for no good reason. It's kind of like, what's it, from the first game? How there was a hidden ghost off to the side, and the only way to find it was to know video games, to know that the camera angle had changed, and that probably means you to pay attention. Like I say, I'll show it to you guys as soon as I find it. If I find it. I also like how I'm completely ignoring my own rules, and I'm running down this corridor now. Suddenly I don't feel quite as scared of the Mourners as I used to. Aha, there we go. Pointing through the hole in the wall and shooting, we find the failed Kusabi, which I do believe I've mentioned before. The Kusabi is an outsider who is sacrificed instead of a twin in hopes of appeasing the Hellish Abyss and hoping that the ritual goes well. And now you know. I have absolutely no idea what that guy just did in order to count as a Fatal Frame combo, but frankly, I don't care. Don't know, don't care. Point is, I beat that guy. Kind of. He's still there. But you know what I mean. So I suppose I should, while I'm... Oh, I nearly got away with that. While I'm fighting these guys, probably come up with some more stories out of work. The other day, again, while I was on the fitting rooms, I hear this almighty smashing noise. And when I go to check what it was at the end of my shift on the fitting rooms, turns out somebody had completely destroyed one of the shoe gondolas. Now, I'm pretty sure you've all been to shoe shops, right? You know what the shoe gondolas look like and just how packed they are. Imagine that, except in pieces all over the floor. Yeah. Now, I don't know what you guys would do if you were in that particular situation, but this customer, well, it turns out it was the customer's son, had decided it was going to play and ended up tearing the place apart. This particular customer just sort of walked away. Just left it. Figured we'd fix it. And being muggins, we did. Oh, come on, game! I am calling the absolute height of shenanigans in that. Although I do believe, now that we've actually passed that guy, we can just ignore these guys and run away to the endgame. Which I'm going to do, because seriously, screw fighting the mourners, I hate them. Sort of a nice design choice that I like about this is off to the side there, you can see bits of the level that you can't actually access. And yeah, this is the end of the game. So what I'm going to do is I think we're going to pause right now. And we'll come back next time for the final episode-ish of Fatal Frame 2. Isn't that exciting? We'll finish the episode as soon as What's-It stops talking to us. Hey, there we go. Okay, see you next time, folks. Bye-bye.